All right, we're getting started. Come on in, say hello. Throw up your comments. We'll be getting this show on the road. I'm here saying hello to everybody. I'm in the corner. Hi, I'm in the corner. Throw up the holiday Christmas theme, guys, because we're heading for it. Holiday Christmas theme is coming in. If you're just joining me, say hello in the comments. Give me a shout. Give me a like. Give me a hello. Give me a snide remark. I don't know. Give me something. We'll just hang out there in the background. Let's spend the first 60 seconds together here as we get going. Letting all notifications go out. Say hello in the comments. Don't be afraid. I won't bite. Promise. Too hard. We're going to spend the first few minutes what I'm going to call the ASIN 360. 6 minutes of updates, and then we're going to get to the deal, and I'm going to start working on some podcast angles and answering questions every day and talking in the ASIN 360 minute moment, whatever I'm going to call it. I don't even know exactly what I'm going to call it, but we're going to figure that out. And then we're going to talk about some products. It's the holidays is coming up as well. If you hadn't, paid attention to that with all the other nonsense going on in the world right now, especially in the U.S., you would know that we are headed into the holidays. Yay! Which means it is time to get some sales moving. And there's going to be no better time to do that than the holiday period, launching brands, products, and stuff, etc. It's a little bit more challenging during the holiday years, months, I should say. So you definitely don't want to get caught up handling product movement in the holiday period. I just found this to be so enlightening. This picture, I just love this picture. I threw this up when I saw it because it's so holidays to me. Christmas on the tree, right? So I hope you guys are doing great. We're going to get off of that for a second, and I'm going to get talking about products. Where is my screen? All right, there we go. So you guys should know it is Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern, November the 12th, 2020. We're a couple of weeks away from, quote-unquote, the Black Friday deal, which I think actually starts now on Wednesday pretty soon. They're going to start that in July at the rate they're going. But it does seem to get more interesting every year when merchandising and holiday sales and whatnot are always play a role in what happens with the time and sales and marketing, e-commerce and retail stores and all that stuff. And so we are looking at a few weeks away from what will become some of the, I think, biggest holiday sales. And we're already seeing the upticks in most accounts, and our customers are as well. And hopefully you guys are too. So let's talk about a few things here for the next few minutes that are going to be important for you to know. Obviously, you're going to need to keep your inventory up. Big problem. This time of year, sellers underestimated the amount of inventory that they should have on hand. And you certainly don't want to get into the holidays with less inventory than you need to really manage those sales. Typically, we'll see 2 to 4 times the amount of sales over the holiday period. We are already seeing a couple times more than what we saw this time last year. So I'm gonna err on the side of maybe 3 to 4x time, maybe 5x for some of you this year, just due to the influx of the amount of people online. Retail stores closing down operations during the Black Friday and pushing a lot of stuff online this year. So if you're well positioned, you've got inventory, you're going to be rocking this out. Like usually the inventory purchases should be happening between October and into November, if not before that, from logistical reasons to get that really stocked up. So you guys want to be doing that. So what else can you be doing? You can be looking at your pricing structure. You can be looking at potential deals. If you're going to be getting into position with those deals, pricing, rebates, and stuff like that, definitely recommend you go take a look at sixleaf.com. If you guys are wanting to do some product launches at this point in the game and you're situated for what is coming, Zonblast Next is where you want to head over to. What Zonblast Next is going to do is help you get some rebates and coupons in place in a safe way, automated campaign structure, get it out into our network, and get your product into position. There's no better time to do that in the next couple weeks, and then manage it through the next couple months because of the way things will work with the opportunity for shoppers and holiday shoppers through December and even into January. And then, of course, ranking your product is going to be very important. You need to obviously make sure you have a very good listing and you understand what a good listing looks like. And then you definitely want to go over there and blast that out. Get those rebates, coupons, get your product keywords, and obviously get yourself in a position. So inventory and market position is very important. Pricing structure, obviously, we talked about pricing being important. Definitely get into a competitive position with your pricing. You don't necessarily need to lower your prices over the holiday. I know it's a big mistake. People feel like, well, I got to get more sales, so I got to lower my price point. Think about that for a second, right? It isn't always a race to the bottom, especially when you're a private label branded seller. You should be thinking about how can I make sure my PPC campaigns are dialed in for my target keywords, so I could even potentially raise my prices just a little bit, because what happens If you're smart and you're a smart seller and you've been trained to do this, then you know your inventory is up, you know the market is good, you know a number of your competitors will probably run out of stock. If you're a smart seller, you planned for that. Why? Because your PPC advertising campaigns and rankings are all going to go up when they stock out. We've done this for 8 years in a row, guys. 8 holidays in a row. We know exactly how people position and we know how they don't plan correctly. If you're not planning correctly with the amount of inventory, pricing, structure, strategy, Amazon and PPC cost strategy and structure, you need to give me a shout over at ASIN 360. Let me help you with your pro sellers. If you're just a beginner seller or a seller in flux and you need to get to more advanced size, go to asin360.com, have a call with me. Let's talk about how we get you to be a pro seller. So guys, that's about 6 minutes into this. I'm going to stop. That's ASIN 360. 360 seconds of download for what's happening right now. You got 3 or 4 good tips out of that, guys. I would take that and run with it for the holiday season because it's going to be explosive. All right, so let's change the game. I got some questions coming in. Thank you very much. Got some comments and some likes and other things coming in. Very, very nice. All right, hello and welcome to the call. So we're going to talk about product research, guys. I like to use a couple of different things in mindset training with you to really adapt and understand the opportunity of any niche that is on Amazon. Now, as you know, there are particular places I recommend you go into if you follow along with me every week. If you're a member of my coaching and training, you know this very well. If you're not yet, then these will be something you might learn in the future. The deal with products on Amazon and stuff, there is saturation and competition. I know we're all afraid of it. When it gets down to picking a particular product, I always want us to make sure that if we're looking for a particular product and we get locked into that product, you always want to back up and take a macro view, okay? Micro and macro for you science buffs. That is small or finance. Macro, micro is finance too. Micro being down to the individual product level, macro being at the market research level of that product, its competition and saturation, okay? So you definitely want to make sure that you're looking at all products within that particular niche, not just an individual product, because sometimes people get product locked. They don't look at the market research well enough. They don't look at the data and go by the numbers. And what ends up happening is they'll choose a product in the market of a niche in which they actually didn't choose the better product opportunity because they just got channel locked into that product. And I know how that works. Most of the time it comes from sellers who have been trained to look for product flipping opportunities from any of the retail, wholesale, online, arbitrage state, and you get locked into the product by product mechanism. And it is a danger for most private label sellers who understand that particular view and that particular strategy, but you get locked into the product, and I need you to be at the market level. Real branding happens when you understand your market and your audience and the avatar within that product audience. And once you know that avatar very well, the products will start to identify themselves within that market niche. And then you start to evaluate all the different products within that niche so that you know you're going after the best product for you and for that brand and for the market in which you're going to serve. So if you all understand that, give me a yes. Did you follow along with that? If you want me to back up and slow down or talk differently or switch up my accent, just let me know. And I will cover that backwards to make sure you're all on the same page about where we go with this, right? I do it every week. I do it with my live trainings. We do it with our coachings as well. I just want you to understand the concept of mining products at the macro and the micro level. Questions coming in. Matthew is asking, are you running Facebook ads for Amazon products? No. We run Amazon PPC, product brands. We work very much within the system of Amazon. External traffic will not increase the sales of your products on Amazon unless you're very good with product advertising and you have a very good lead page and a lead system in place. If you know your audience and you're on Facebook and you already have it over there, but you're not on Amazon, it's easy to translate some of that traffic to Facebook. To Amazon from Facebook. But if you're going to take the time and energy to set up a funnel and try to run Facebook ads, you're actually wasting time and energy when you can go find the sellers who are already inside of Amazon. That's where you need to be focused on, right? If you focus on the Amazon side of the house first and you know those products are in there you're going to go after and you know the audience is already there buying those products, and why would you try to go spend time, energy, money, and effort over on Facebook looking to find those people to send them to Amazon when they're already on Amazon and probably going over to Facebook to look at cat memes? So just think about this logically for a second, right? Can you adapt them to your product later on? Absolutely, but focus. Stay focused on one thing. The idea you're losing opportunity is really actually wrong. You have an opportunity cost, and that is the knowledge, learning, and training, plus the cost and capitalization of running those Facebook ads, getting that software, those funnels online, and all that activity. to get to the product. And here's what I find happens most often, okay? And I'm not picking on you, Matthew. I just want everybody to understand this. What ends up happening most often is they're sending any kind of traffic or outside marketing activity to Amazon, and the outcome of that is they don't have a really great listing. They didn't really choose the good product in the first place. They don't really know who they're serving with that particular product, and all this other activity is wasted, all right? So what we focus on are revenue generating activities, RGAs. Your RGA for Amazon is finding the best product, understanding the market correctly, and then understanding the language of the market and how to serve them correctly. If they happen to speak in a British accent, Natalie, then you can use a British accent, right? I don't have a great one. My British accent typically ends up sounding Australian. I have no idea why that is, but it gets a little more g'day on it than it actually probably does with more like mate. So I won't even try to go after that one. I'll embarrass myself like to death. All right, so let's get after that, right? Let's get some ideas, throw them in here. This is your chance to throw some product ideas you might have been vetting or in your worksheet or on your list. Always want you guys to be making a list of product ideas all the time. Put it on your phone, put it on your spreadsheet, put it on your notepad. Do things that help you remember. Put it on a little book and stick it in your, your pocket. I have people that, make little audio notes. I don't know. Make a list, right? You can't be successful without a list of good activities, and your product list should be created and should be continuously worked. It is one of the major revenue generating activities you should be focused on. So today, let me hear your products and your ideas. If you don't, I will just go off random because I have a lot of stuff moving in my seller account thanks to the 5 women that live in my house. So there's product coming through my Amazon account all the time, and I never even know everything is what it is. And apparently somebody ordered a doll if I'm looking over here. It looks like they ordered a doll. If my kids are watching this or listening to me, I probably should shut up because that might be at Christmas. So let's make sure we don't talk about that. What do we have here? Erasable notebook. All right, so let's look at notebook first. Someone said erasable notebook. All right, so we got college rule. We got, you're a little behind with anything related to Thanksgiving at this point. You're going to be far too far behind. Let me get my notifications off here. There we go. If you're trying to do things for this Thanksgiving, you'd be good to get something ready for next Thanksgiving. If you wanted to do holiday seasonal. All right, so we got journals, notebooks for women, journals for kids. I would just go through and I would start by looking at, okay, who does a lot of notebooking? Who is the audience that particularly finds themselves in more of a diary format, takes notebooks and writes them? You can think of ladies, women who like to do that. I know there's men that do that too. I just, mindset would turn to be more towards women and children. Children and notebooks, if you're going to look at it like pencils, paper, if I'm thinking about it in terms of what audience would be served by that, I'm thinking children who might go to school and want a notebook. It's erasable. They can use it in class. It might be a homeschooler thing that they can use and play around with. Might be a college thing. Take it to college, erase it, use it over again, that kind of stuff. If you're looking at more dry erasable, dry erasable notebooks, students. So if we go more the dry erasable, we're going to be heading upwards in terms of education and use. Although we have some of these, we're homeschoolers. We got a bunch of dry erasable types of stuff in our house, which is great because when you have kids, you don't obviously want them to stain their clothes, which happens all the time, even with dry erasable. So we've got the markers, the pens, the calendar, the board. Toddlers, board for a desk. So we got something more in the desk and office space. We've got a board calendar if someone wants to write, a whole board, maybe for the wall. We'll see where that one goes. And then we got the original dry erasable board. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. Just, talking out this niche, right? You should be talking it out to yourself as well. You should be thinking about the avatar, the type of person, and the angle at which they're going to be using it, and who you're specifically going to speak to as the audience that you want to attract this to, okay? Could be kids, students, college, parents, family, business owners. As we can see here, there is some similarity, of course, to a dry erase, but you can see they've been positioned just a little bit differently. We've got one coming after teachers, classroom. We got one coming after, work at home tasks. So this is more of a home office move. We got your standard old just dry erase board. Look at this. Just check out my rating and my price, and that's why this one is more and this one is less. This one is only selling on price and value. We have price and value, And what I mean by that is it's just going to be the price and the reviews that will make a determination about which of these I actually go after. Because there's not a perceived value of what it really will do for me. Now, this one, educational single-sided erasers included, is more of a niche within the dry erase board niche. This one for home offices and use at home office and walls is more of a niche as well, with more profit. They're clearly right up here at $23.95. They're one of the more higher priced in this market, but they also are really specifically calling out work at home tasks, follow up at John, Zoom meeting. I mean, they're real kind of dialed in. I like that. They're giving us some good example. Might be a leader in this area to follow, right? To kind of take a look at. We're following along here. We got today's deals. We've got, definitely more of an angle. This one even has some magnetic capabilities, and they've certainly priced theirs more into the business home office side of things, although it's a 48 by 6 inch board. What's the difference between that one and this one? This is 24 by 18, 9 by 12. We're down here with a big old 48 by 36. So this is really just a size variation difference. Doesn't mean there's less profit, just means there's a size difference. So let's go and pull that one up a little bit. But you can see the angles at which we're going already on the front page within the first 9 listings. We've already identified home and school, office, and then just miscellaneous. Which of those ones in your brain thinks at this point gives you a perception or at least a perceived value of more cost and more value, while others make it seem more like toss away? I could pick this thing up at Walmart. Why would I buy it from you? Can you guys give me any insight to what you saw on that just now as you're looking along with me? And you should be playing along at home with me, picking up the browser, coming in here looking at dry erasable boards as well. If you have ACEN Inspector Pro, definitely check that one out as well. If you want to go to 6leaf and get Phoenix, ACEN Inspector Pro will be sunset here in just a little bit, a few months probably. So it's still definitely a relevant tool. We'll be moving it to the Phoenix Chrome extension and 6leaf dashboard here soon. But go right on ahead and keep using ACEN Inspector for the time being. Definitely something more along the lines of a business related. Got a little Photoshop action going on there. I got kids using it, and I got business people using it. So, there's a little bit of a crossover. I sort of like that, but at the same time, I don't really, because to me, at this point, everything is perceived to be more business, more office related. And then when I see kids drawing on it, what do I think immediately? Like, they're not doing a terrible job. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this is a, estimated profit, if we jip over here real quick, is down at the $17,000. So they're not, they're not hurting really. They're 143 in their department BSR of products. So this is actually a pretty well-selling product. It's not got the bestseller badge, and it's not the best, Amazon choice, but it's doing a pretty good deal. It does tell you, though, that in the price points and profitability areas, if you're going to go for the larger boards, more business size, you're going to have a higher profit margin estimated. You're going to have a slightly bigger product, not necessarily in weight, but size. So you'll have to accommodate that for fulfillment fees and that sort of thing, because it is a bit big. But it's not going to weigh a terrible amount either for shipping and other related. 16 pounds is just below or right at the large oversized. But it's a decent listing. It's obviously making some good money, and from a competitive perspective, it gives you an idea where they are. But at 9,200, you'd have to get a better angle on that board. 5,800 over here. Just real quick observation. Of course, we got a lot of competition in this area, and with the similarity of this product, unless you can niche it down into one of those specific areas you're going to target for, you're going to want to watch yourself in terms of saturation. And that is going to force you, just so we're clear, if anybody who maybe is brand new to the selling world, the saturation is going to drive you into a situation where your pricing and your reviews become the dominant factor of your product's purchasing. And that's not where we want to be, right? With private label, we don't want to be stuck there. We want to own the market. We want to dominate the competition, have the profit to do it, and we want to be the lead dog with the best pricing, but we also can be the one who raises our pricing because our brand is stronger and our benefit-driven relationship with the customer's understanding is stronger and of a higher affinity. It's very important you understand that, okay? We don't want to race to the bottom, and we certainly don't want to get $12 and $8 products in our pocket. So this is an interesting niche, and it does open up. In fact, you can see here, this is a photoshopped image in which they literally put her in here now on a calendar. We saw her a minute ago, for those of you paying attention at home. There she is again. She is now working on an at-home calendar, but again, this particular seller appears to be headed, towards the home office, home business, right? Which is cool, because literally as I look at that picture, everything in there could be sold to somebody on Amazon, right? Which is cool. You can brand that all together. These kinds of images don't really sell anything, by the way. Little pro tip for you there. Doesn't really do anything for the buyer. All right, so I've never looked at one of those and saw, 100% guarantee, and I just get the confidence of Amazon when I buy it. You don't need to reinforce that in an image. You've wasted an image. Use an image again to do something in action. All right, you do an actionable format. And, at $3.47 and estimated at $2,700, not a great profitable margin on the 25-inch. Maybe the 38-inch has a little bit better data on it. We can kind of look across here, and 566. We get up to the 46. There might be a little bit more profit on this one. Yeah, $15 profit on this one. It's ranked at 1,800. So, just those three right there. While this is a parent-child relationship, so far, people want the 46, right? So why would you come in and try to sell the 25? Right at this moment, at that one angle, I would have you look at the 46. Now let's just go up to the 55 for a second and see how it's selling. It's selling just as well as the 46. So in terms of going to the home office, if we make the logical connection between the people who would buy this for their home office, they're typically not wanting the small ones. They don't want a desktop one. They don't want a small book. They want actually something on their wall they could use, they could stand up with, they could plan it out. It could be used in a homeschool room. It could be used in a business office. It could be used in somebody's office. And the idea here, of course, is connectivity. Now, this one has to do a little bit more with partying and activities. They've angled it to a specific niche within this. This has to do with family, a large family planning, family schedule, updated and reusable, laminated. They even have icons that'll make it reusable. It could be for family planning, it appears. It could be used for things around the home, not just the office work. You can see where this is kind of niched into an area. And while doing that, they've carved out a little niche for themselves. And that's kind of what I was talking about a minute ago. So if I just gone and looked at this at just the product level, which many sellers do until they realize what they're actually doing or have been trained to do it correctly, they get too far into the single individual product level. They don't back up and look at the macro view, and they certainly don't back up and look at the avatar of the person and why they would be using this and what they're going to use it for. Okay, guys, that's a very important part of product research, and I really want you guys to understand that today. So we're kind of coming to the end of the line. We did have a insight into a particular niche you may not have thought of. Obviously, Talar, you've thought of this. There's definitely money to be made in here. Just be very careful about the competition and saturation component. Competition in itself is not bad. When you can carve out a particular area within the niche in which you can compete is strong, but not necessarily go into the saturated component of that niche where you will only fight off pricing in reviews. I see a lot of people doing that. They're very afraid of going into saturation, and then they get blinded by things, I guess, and they end up in products that are more saturated, and they wonder why they don't sell. And then they marry those products for too long, hoping they'll sell more, realizing that if you don't have profit on 100 units of sell, you sell 1,000 of them, you're still not going to have any profits. And they get locked into this thing 2 and 3 months later. And that's usually when they call us. They usually call us and say, okay, help me fix this. I don't understand what I did wrong. If you want to get ahead of that and you don't want to come into that problem and you've got products you're wanting to sell faster and bigger and more of, and you'd like my help evaluating those products and getting them to the next level and maybe helping you get that business scaled, hit me up, asin360.com. Definitely love to talk with anybody who's serious as a seller. If you're in the retail wholesale arbitrage space and you're still picking on products at an individual level for product flipping, and you're only at the profit but not the brand level in terms of the product itself, and you're fighting for products and you've been doing this for months or going 6 hours a day to a retail wholesale deal and only found a couple of products and don't make it work, then you got to get out of that because there's so much more other opportunity. You're wasting time and energy on activities that are not really generating revenue for you. Get in the private label game with FBA. So we have looked at this. We have seen the opportunity. We know people like this. Your goal at this point isn't necessarily to get off of this kind of product or this niche. It's to keep digging into it and looking for that niche opportunity that you can get into.
just like this particular seller did, and make some serious money with this. This is a great product, but a competitive product for you, especially if you're getting going, right? All right, so with ASIN, do we have a filter that shows anything about search volume so we can determine if there's a solid need? No, we do not have keyword search volume within ASIN Inspector Pro at this point. It is on the roadmap for Phoenix within 6leaf, and that will in essence replace the need for merchant words or other keyword related tools to pull volume and search volume by keyword. That will be built into one of the coming iterations on our roadmap for 6leaf's Phoenix Chrome extension, which will replace ASIN Inspector in the Pro. So we're working on that. It's not here yet, but it's on its way. We intend to take over many of those little accounts you guys are using in different ways, keywords and other things, and we're going to kind of put them all together into one platform. Real excited about that. Still a ways off, but it's coming. At this moment, you cannot. So you'll have to go over and take your keyword ideas and work with Helium 10's keyword research tool or Merchant Words. I hate to send you to a competitor, but so be it. Go get your keywords, do the due diligence you need to do. And work through that, all right? And for those of you, again, who are in the current ASIN 360 Pro program, you know where to go. Go into the membership, check out the modules on keyword research, and you guys will knock it out of the park. For those of you who are not in that, sorry, but we'll catch you again at another time. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up with one last thing, guys. If you are wanting to know more about how we go by the numbers, come spend a few days with me. I'm kicking off another one of these next week. I'm going to spend 3 to 5 days live with people who want to learn more about ASIN 360 Pro, myself, our processes, our 5x5 formula, learning how to do product research, evaluate them by the numbers, understand the market itself. I'll give you some product examples and things we do, teach you about how to get them properly ranked and identify their proper keyword locations, and then talk about a business that can be sold that's worth more when you sell it than when you're building it. So we'll do that in our free Amazon Sellers Training. It's coming up here very shortly. If you guys want to get involved, that's free. AMZ training.group. That's one of the URLs. Let me verify that real quick because I'm typing and talking and walking and chewing gum at the same time. Yeah, you guys can definitely go to the free AMZ training group freeamztraining.group and check that out. Put the link in there just now. So guys, hopefully you got a lot of good out of this. If you're just new to this Thursday call, come on back next week. I'd love to talk with you guys again. We'll do some more training. We'll do some more discussion. We'll have some more time together talking about products. Bring your ideas. Keep validating the ideas. And obviously get out there and do something with your business, right? Because if you don't work on your seller business and your Amazon business this week, you may be working at your job next week and next week and next week and next week. And you have an opportunity to put that all aside. All right, guys, have a great rest of your Thursday. I'll see you next week. And the rest of you have a great rest of your week too. Take care. And all of you, just see you later. Okay, bye now.